Hello. After seeing Albin's video, this one, I was curious how to do it myself, so I recreated this, after which people were commenting to please have a tutorial for it. So here you go. There are two versions. One is paid, the other one is with Blender 5.0, although it's a bit trickier. The whole effect is called Zoetrope, which is basically you have a cylinder that you can spin and you can see through the slits, and by moving the cylinder in a certain speed, you have the impression as if the person is moving, which is kind of comparable to the horse in motion. If you've never seen it, quick recap, it's just a horse. There were strings attached from what I remember, and the horse was tripping or going over those lines, which then in turn activated the camera, kind of freezing the horse in the air to see how the horse was moving. I've used this model from Sketchfab, so thank you Amitesh Nandan. So I'm using Blender 5 because here you can also use the new functions of the array modifiers. Just to quickly see, I have the cube here, array modifier, and you can here check a circle, increase the size, and now you can also array in a circle. Before I was using an add-on from Ixas. I will show you both methods, one with the paid version if you want to, or if you have this toolset already, and the other one which requires one or two more steps extra with the new 5.0 version. So first and foremost, what do I do? So I imported the file from Sketchfab. We can see the horse is running. What we now need to do, and what takes a bit longer, is I take the horse, I duplicate it with Shift-D, move it aside, and then basically I click on the first one, go to Object, Convert to Mesh. So now the first one doesn't move. Then what I do is go to the second frame, again, Object, Convert, Mesh. And of course you would do it in advance. You wouldn't convert this one into a mesh. You duplicate it for the amount of time the animation is running. In this case, it is 12, I believe. Let me just check. Timeline. Am I stupid? Where's the timeline? Okay, I am stupid. Okay, it's in the bottom. So it's 12 frames long. That means I would duplicate this 12 times, and then Shift R to quickly duplicate it 12 times and go through each frame. But since this was a bit too tedious for me and I'm a lazy, I quickly wrote a script that you can download on my Gumroad. It's called Animation Frame Duplicator. So the animation is running for 12 frames. In the end panel, we just type in 12. I don't know what you want to call your collection, which will be useful later. Call it whatever. Select the object, hit duplicate frames, and now all of the frames have been frozen in their time, except this one original, which we don't need right now. We also don't need the disk. Let's put this back, and we are now needing the geometry node setup. Let's go to geometry nodes, import a plane, click on new. If you have the paid toolset, you just type in circular array, attach it here, drag and drop your collection, plug this into the geometry, and separate children, reset children. I think let's make this a bit bigger, pick instance, still a bit bigger, or you know what, let's make the horses small. What I also like to do, sorry, I'm just going all over the place, origin to geometry, or let's go center of volume. In edit mode, select all of them, G, Z, to move the origin roughly to the bottom. Then let's move all of them back to the center, hide this collection, and now we have a count of 16. But since we had 12 frames of animation, we're going to type in 12. So now each of those vertices has a different movement, or should have a different movement. Does look like it, kind of, hopefully. Then you can play around with the radius. Let's go with that. Scale it maybe down a bit more. What we need now, let's add a simple plane. Another curve object, circle object. Make it bigger, move it a bit up. Add a camera, and in the properties, not properties, what is it? The constraints. You click follow path, follow the Bezier circle. Let's add an empty into the middle. Select the camera, add another constraint, track to empty. So now what the camera should see is this. We want the camera to be animated. So we select follow curve, animate path, and let's see what we have. So yes, camera is moving. You can adjust the camera by either adjusting its location, or you can also scale the circle, the Bezier circle. Move it just a bit up, a bit a wider angle. That's good for now. I don't need anything else right now. Maybe just a cylinder in the middle to hide the other horses. Scale good enough for now. So the next trick is to think about how you want to position the camera. And for that, we need to click on the Bezier circle, go to the path animation. And here in the path animation, I wanted to rotate 360 degrees within 12 frames. And if I do that, then we already see the horse moving. Every frame captures one movement of the horse. In theory, that's it. But if you want to go a step further, let's go to the dope sheet. I'm not going to get used to the disappearance of the timeline. Let's go 1 to 250 or whatever. What you can do is you can start with 200 frames, for example. So the camera is slowly winding up. So it's moving slowly. And with that, you keyframe it. You move ahead to whichever frame you want. You type in the magic number 12 or the amount of animation points you have. For example, if your animation had 24 steps or frames, then you would type in 24. So you will use the number that you have put in here. 12, keyframed it. Go back, let's make it move a bit. So it's winding, and boom, there we go. There is your horse moving in this effect. And of course, you can play around with, go to Eevee, give it some nice motion blur. But first, let's add also an environment. Go to motion blur, hide everything else. Maybe give this a quick material. I'm just going to give one of the horses an emission shader of, let's call this emission. Go back to geometry node, set material, emission, and now our horse should glow. Let's make it red. Let's have a look at the motion blur. Okay, this is too high, obviously. Oh my god. You can keyframe it kind of. What I like to do is I go around 0.3, keyframe it, get that done. Let's do 0, go a bit further, 0.3, keyframe it, go a bit further where you actually see the animation fully and you change the number to the magic number, 0.03. And then you get this kind of nice effect where you can see it speeding up and all of a sudden stopping. Maybe it's still too much. You have to play around with it. 0.1 maybe. And then you get this cool effect. You can add the background. You can change the background to whatever you like. Add something to the foreground. And this was the paid version. If you don't have the paid version or the nodes that I just showed you, you can use Blender 5.0. Let's import a cube just to give it an array modifier. And let's use a curve. So we can already use the curve we have. Let's select the Bezier circle. Now all of our objects or the cubes will be put on this circle. Type in 12. The problem I had is I didn't know how to implement a collection in here because every item in the collection represents one of the movements. But if you go here under the geometry node tab, we use the curve instance and nothing else. We move towards the instance on points. Let me show it again. You just zoom in right here, right there. You drag and drop the frame. You drag and drop the collection in here. First of all, click this randomness button here. You drag and drop the collection. You put the instances in the instances. Then again, separate children, reset children, whatever you want to do. I have no clue. Pick instance. Our rotation is a bit fucked. So let's see if this does the trick. No. Then I guess we have to manually rotate all of them. Oops, what the fuck did I do? Select edit mode. Select all rotates. Wrong direction. Move them a bit up. Or maybe not. Okay, we already got the right rotation, which is cool. What's not cool is I was stupid enough to put it on the same track as the camera. So let's just move camera a bit outwards. Yeah. Okay, new plan. We're not going to instance all of our horses here. We're just going to duplicate this, make it a bit smaller, and we're going to put it on the Bezier circle number 1. So at least we can use our camera. Scale it a bit. Maybe we should hide the other horses that are lying there. Where should we set the material? Set material, plug it in here, emission, and then let's just play. Okay, this is a bit too fast for my liking, and it is because we have too many points, don't we? Why is it speeding so much? What the fuck did I do? All right, I think I figured it out. It took me a while. I took a break of a few hours, but then it came to me. I can just flip around the curve, and that would solve the problem. So if we hide, first of all, the, let's say, paid version, this one, go to the camera, and this is with Blender 5.0. If we play it back, it's first of all too quick for whatever reason. For this, I figured if I change it from a curve to a circle, first of all, everything is bunched up together again, first of all, and then we have the cubes again. So we just copy our collection, go up here and paste it because here we are in the circle instances. And we plug this into instance, pick instance. Now I think we can rotate instances. Let's see, 90 degrees. No. This is better. Okay, let's scale it up a bit more. Maybe scale the horses a bit down, move them up. We should still be backwards. And then click the curve where the camera is, go into edit mode, right click, and then we go to switch direction. Go out of edit mode, and now we have a nice animation as we did before. But our horse is moving in the wrong direction and the camera is also. So we should flip it around and that should fix everything. And it does. And now we can change this horse with anything you want. All right, let's recap. Let's import the model from Mixamo. This person dancing lovely. Once again, select 55 duplicate frames, and we select the other part also in the same collection, duplicate frames. What we can now do, which I did before but I forgot because I'm stupid, select everything, set origin to a masked surface. So we put the cursor back to the origin, select everything in our hierarchy or in our collection, selection to cursor. Now everything is in one place and she's doing some weird movements. Then we click on our horse, go to the geometry nodes tab. Here we have built everything. We just drag and drop our walking collection, separate children, reset children. Nope, not in there. Plug it into the instances. And now we have to select this 55. Oh my. You know what? I will not bother with all those joints. She won't have joints. That's it. I decided. And her joints are gone. What we will now do is scale her down a tiny bit. Then we make the circle bigger. Maybe we can even scale her here, which would be smarter. Select everything, edit mode, select everything, and make her small. Let's see where our camera is. And now, since we changed the frames to 55, we have to select our curve, go down here to the path animation. All right, 55, press I, and from here on out, you should be dancing properly. If we want, we can make the circle a bit bigger so we only see one person. Then we can rotate this also. Well, let's just rotate it like this. And now he is dancing. Easy as that. How does the beginning look? Because there she shouldn't be dancing. It's going down until we hit 55. And once we hit 55, we get the nice animation going. I might repeat myself like a broken record, but all in all, what you do. Go here. You have an object that is moving. What you do, either you duplicate it a bunch of times, go frame by frame, then convert this to a mesh so you kind of freeze the motion, and then you select all of them again, put them into one spot if you don't want them moving forward in the animation, put them all into a collection, cube. Then you have the cube. Then what you can do is either go the paid version with the node tools I showed, or you go with the new version of Blender 5.0. Create an array, choose circle. Then depending on how many frames of animation you had here it's 4 as an example, you put in 4 here for the array. Let's spread them out a bit. Go into the geometry node tab. I can find it. Array. Since it's a bit more chaotic, you just go and look here. We have the line and we are currently in the circle. So we go down to circle, go to instance on points, all the way there. Drag and drop the collection. Drag and drop the collection. Oh yeah, I forgot this thing. And drag and drop the collection. Separate, reset, plug in here. Now we have the cubes there. If you want, put a rotate instances node afterwards so we can rotate them however you want. Then move them a bit to the side. You create a curved circle if you want. Then you plug in a camera and then you bind this camera to the path. I don't know where the camera just went. Why is it all the way there? Okay, camera's here, follow curve, animate path. Since you want it to look somewhere, create another empty, select the camera, track your camera to this empty. Now we are looking at the cubes. And for the animation itself, you just select the curve, go to the curve properties. Under path animation, you select the number of what do you call it here? Counts that you plug in here, or the number of frames of animation you have, and plug the same shit in there. So this was the wrong setting. Plug in 4. So the camera rotates 360 degrees in 4 frames, which means, yes, it's jumping in 90-degree increments, whatever it is. I think it's our cube instances. And that's basically it. You get the point. I hope you learned something. If you didn't, then comment and let me know what was the difficult part, and I tried to explain it there. And see you.